we are going to do a couple different flower appliques that you can use to attach to different products. It could be a blanket, it could be a headband, a beanie, and even slippers, which was the inspiration for this video. I just did a two-part slipper tutorial, and you can, attach flowers if you want to, add a little bit more to your slipper pattern. But yeah, so I just have a couple here. This is just a simple 5-petal little flowers. So you can put a bead or a button in the middle if you'd like to when you attach it to whatever you're going to use it for. And then I also have this one, which is a little more detailed, has some texture to it. It's fairly simple. It might look a little more complicated or intimidating, but it's not. It's a pretty easy project or pattern to work with. So again, I will put the links in the description as to where these patterns came from, so that you can look them up if you prefer to see the written pattern as well. But yeah, so I'm going to start with this one here first. So we'll get started with that one. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to do our slip knot. We just make a circle and then pull up in between, and then you just tighten. And we're going to put that on our hook, and then we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I am using my 5mm hook. It's my most favorite. I use it for a lot of things. You can use a smaller hook. You're just going to end up with a smaller looking flower. You could use, whoops, sorry, hit the camera there. You could use a bigger hook, and the result will be a bigger flower that you'll end up with. So just as personal preference, kind of, just make sure that if you're using a smaller hook that your yarn isn't too thick, or it'll be a little hard to work with. All right, so now that we've chained 4, we're going to slip stitch to the first chain. And then now we need to find the center. So we need to make sure that we're in the center. So you just kind of got to pull a little bit and work your way in. And sometimes I just try to kind of keep my fingers in there so it keeps it open. So I'm going to use the double crochet to go inside to make the petals. You can use the triple crochet if you'd like. It'll just probably make it a little bit bigger. But what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 double crochets. Just got to make sure we're in that center. What is happening? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you guys can probably hear the rustling going on in the background, and it probably sounds like I have a little critter running around, and that is very true. I have a rat who's in a cage or in an aquarium tank, obviously with the lid off. Yeah, so we put a Kleenex box in there yesterday, so it sounds like she's trying to just move it around in there. So that is what you're hearing. I do have a rat running around. She's very friendly, and her name is Pepper. Okay, so I've done the 4 double crochets, and now we're just going to do a single crochet, and that kind of closes off the petal. Okay, and now we're going to do 4 more double crochets. So we do this all in the center of the ring, and we're going to do this 5 times until we have the 5 petals. So 3, 4, and then we do a single crochet to close off the petal. And we're going to do that again. So you will sometime when you might have to shift this over a little bit to give you some room in there. Okay, one more. And then we do a single crochet. So now we have our 3 petals. It does start to get a little tighter. I guess that's maybe the hardest part of doing this flower. So again, we're gonna do 4 more double crochets. Do some more shifting here. Okay, and then a single crochet. And now we need to do 1 more petal. So we're getting kind of limited for space here, so we're gonna have to, sorry, just kind of gotta pull it and try to get in there. And then we just need to finish with a single crochet. And there we have it. There are our 5 petals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're just going to kind of pull it back here. We want to slip stitch into that stitch that's down a little bit in there. Okay. And then we will cut that off, pull that through, and then tighten up that center a little bit. And there you have it. There's just a simple, easy little flower that you can make to add to different patterns. Okay, so next we will move on to the other flower that I have here. So we'll be back shortly. Let's now get started and working on this cute little flower pattern here. So the first thing we need to do is a magic circle. I bet you're all excited. I know I am. Magic circles are so fun. They are hard to learn, but once you get the hang of it, they're fairly easy. So I take the string in my hand, just make sure you kind of have a bit of a tail there. And then I come around, sorry, I'm into the frame, and then I come up to the top and I make like an X on the top of my fingers there, and I use this finger to hold that down. I come in with my hook with the hook up, and I go under. I gotta shift that down a little bit so I can get in there. I go under the bottom one and then over the top piece of yarn there. And then I turn my hook and I come up, and then you bring up a loop, and then you just pull your fingers out and release that. My yarn's caught here. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain here, and then we're going to do 8 single crochet into the magic ring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're just going to pull that to tighten it. It's the magic of the magic ring. Try to get close in that hole as much as we can. And then we're just going to slip stitch to the first stitch to close. Okay. It's a little tight to get in there, so we're gonna try to get our hook into that first stitch to do the slip stitch. Whoops, sorry guys. All right, I have the camera so close to my hands and kind of even my body too, and I do that because I want to be closer to the screen. Like, I know I've watched some tutorials and they're like way down here, and it you know, it tends to be harder to see. So I try to get as close to the camera as I can to kind of show you where I'm at. It's a little easier to see, a little more clear. But the drawback to that is that I hit the camera a lot. So I apologize for the shakiness. And I mean, most people would probably edit that out. But you know what? I mean, I want to get these videos out as soon as possible. So I mean, and you know, yes, editing is nice, but I also like, you know, having that realness to it, where I don't take out all of my mistakes that I make. So I did, the first part I did have to edit a bit because my dog barked, scared the crap out of me. So I'm sure if you were watching the video, it probably would have scared the crap out of you too. Sorry, I used the word. Anyways, so I did edit that part out of the video, so hopefully I got it to mesh well. But yeah, so there is certain things that I will edit if I need to. But I mean, you know, it's learning as I go too, and maybe trying to find different positions and place my holder for my camera or for my phone that I take my videos with differently, so that I'm not bumping it so much. So I do apologize when that does happen. Hopefully it's not too distracting. All right, so now that we have our 8 single crochets and we've slip stitched to the first stitch, we are now going to make 8 popcorn stitches. So I just did a video on how to do that stitch. So we need to chain 3. And then we are going to, in the same space that we just did our slip stitch in, we are going to do a, so we need to do, where am I here? Right. So what we need to do into the first stitch is we're going to do 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So now that we've done the 5 double crochets into that same first stitch, we're going to pull up a loop and we're just going to let it sit there. So now we need to go back to the top of that first double crochet that we did, not the chain 3, but the first double crochet. So that would be this one here. So we're going to go into that chain, and then we're going to go back into our loop that we just had there. We're going to pull down, and then we need to pull through, and then we're going to do a chain 1. Okay, so that's going to be the first part of our little petal there. So we need to do that 7 more times. So we're going to do 5 double crochets into the next stitch. Okay, so we did our 5. Sorry, so now we need to take out our loop. And we got to go back to our our first double crochet that we just did. Put in our hook. Nope, sorry, that's not the right one. This one here. And then put our hook back into that loop. We're going to pull through, and then we're going to do a chain 1. So as you can see, we're starting to make some little petals here, which is kind of neat. So again, we're going to do that again into the next stitch. You're going to do 5 double crochets into that stitch and then finish with a chain 1. You're going to repeat that process just keep going until you have 8 petals. I'm going to pause the video here and I'll finish this up. I'll stop at the last stitch so we know how to finish off the row. All right, so I'm back here. We're now down to our last stitch here. Okay. So again, 5 more double crochets into this last stitch. Okay. There we go. So now we're going to slip stitch to that chain that we did there, which might be a little hard to see. It's right there. So we're just going to slip stitch to there. So now for round 3, the last round, to get our petals at the top, we're going to slip stitch into the next open space. So we're going to slip stitch into here. So here's your open space. So we're just going to do a slip stitch. Okay. So now working in that space, we are going to we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a half double crochet, and then we're going to do a double crochet, and then we're going to do a triple. So that means we have to yarn over twice before we go in. And then we pull through 2 loops, pull through another 2, and then pull through another. Okay, so that was chain 1, then we did 1 half double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 1 triple. So we now need to do another double crochet. And then we're going to do a half double crochet. And this is all in the same stitch, or in the same space. Oh, that was supposed to be a half. And then we're going to do a single crochet to close off the petal. So then we just need to repeat that process 7 more times. So we're going to slip stitch to the space. Sorry. We want to go into the space, not into the chain. So slip stitch, and then now we're going to chain 1. We're going to do a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a triple crochet, through 2, through 2, and then through 2 more. Then we're going to go back to a double crochet, a half crochet, half double crochet, and then a single crochet. Okay, so again, I'll do that one more time to show you again. So we're going to go into the next space. We're going to do a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 1. Okay, and then we're going to do a half double crochet, which is just through all 3 of the loops, then a double crochet, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and then the triple crochet, which is yarning over twice into the space, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through another 2 loops, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. Okay, and then we're going to do a double crochet, a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. All right, so again, we're going to repeat that process until we get all the way around. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this here for now, and I'll finish that up, and we'll come back to the last one. All right, so we're just at the last space here. So we'll finish this off. Sorry, just got to get in the angle there. See, I should watch me do it through my camera, so then I know that I'm actually in there. But I'm not quite over top of my camera, so it's a little hard to see. So yeah, so I'm actually like under my camera watching, so that's why sometimes I get closer to myself so that I can see it. Anyways, that's just me rambling. All right, so to finish off this last petal, just the same steps. We're just going to slip stitch into there. We're going to do a chain 1, a half double crochet, then a double, then a triple. This one always trips me up. So 2, through 2, 2, and then we go back to doing a double crochet, then a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. And that completes our flower. So we just need to, so we kind of want this to go in, so we're just going to kind of slip stitch it to the back of this first popcorn stitch that we did here, just to close off that petal, if I can get in here somewhere. So just a slip stitch, and of course we'll cut that off, and then we'll pull that through. And there we are. There is the flower with the popcorn stitch. Of course we can tighten up our center here. Okay, and so now we just need to weave in the ends. And you'll end up with your cute little flowers. So yeah, you can do these in any color. Like I said, you could use a smaller yarn to get a little bit smaller of a flower if you wanted. You'd want your yarn to not be bigger than your hook, because it would be hard to work with to do that. But yeah, I think these are cute. Definitely, you know, nice to put on headbands or even on blankets. If you want to put like a cluster in the corner somewhere or something. But yeah, whatever you think would look good. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy the tutorial on these flowers. Stay tuned for more videos to come. I have lots of ideas in mind, so I'm just trying to, and I've also been getting suggestions, so I do have a video that I need to work on for a dishcloth set, so that will be coming soon, hopefully. I hope to get started on that this weekend. But yeah, so I'm open to, if there's a pattern that you're just not, you'd like to see a tutorial done on it, by all means, send it to me. I have an email address. It is on my website, or on my Facebook page, I should say, or shoot me a private message right on Facebook.